Welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 best of 3. It's going to be more from that Azus tournament. And just jumping right on into things here. We've got ourselves what could possibly be the best match we've seen in a while. It's definitely two fantastic players. And that's why I'm excited to watch this one. He's on a barcode account, but he's one of the best Terran players out there. It's Innovation. If you guys don't know who Innovation is, you must be new to the game or under a Starcraft rock. Basically, probably the best Terran, or one of the best Terrans for like half a decade now, or something like that. Maybe even longer. He's just been around and so good for so long. However, his opponent, I think, is pretty much the undisputed best player in the world. It's SERRAL. Playing for TvZ, he's just SERRAL, man. He is so good at the game. And so we've got ourselves what should be an absolutely amazing TvZ here. It's like, oh, LaughNgamez, you just got back from a hiatus. Maybe you're gonna warm up to it. It's like, nope, jumping right on into probably what I just saw this match and I was like, right, gotta cast this one. Probably one of the best matches that's been played in a while. We'll confirm. Maybe it's gonna suck. Can't know till we watch it. But when you've got guys this good, I think it's pretty rare that you're gonna have a poor looking best of 3. So SERRAL and Innovation, just two absolute monsters. I think I'm still one of the guys who's like, maybe SERRAL needs to prove himself versus the Korean Terrans a little bit more. I know he's beat Innovation in the past in a close series, like at Home Story Cup Finals, I think it was. And then he beat TY in a close series. So he definitely does beat the top Terrans, but I mean, the top Terrans always just bring it a different level just here and there. So we'll see how Innovation's looking, or how he's going to approach the monster that is SERRAL. And let's take a look here. SERRAL moving out with a drone, just checking for proxies perhaps, just before he gets that guy mining. Then just making his standard lings here. Getting up a command center for Innovation, following up that Reaper. So very normal stuff here. I mean, you can go away from StarCraft 2 for quite a while and come back and you'll still see the same standard builds. That Reaper with his dual pistols there, I guess. Those are some fancy looking pistols the Reaper has, really looking at it. But we'll see how well he's going to do going up against these lings. I mean, usually you'll get like maybe one. If you get a ling, I think it's considered a good day versus someone like SERRAL. Almost gets it, not quite. So having a bit of a tough time there, just trying to get anything done. And then just moving forward, let's see. Queen just starting to spread that creep. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary there, but I just figured, yeah, I gotta cast this. That Reaper, I mean, he's taking a beating, down to 1 HP there. Good thing for him, Innovation is a pretty darn good baby or Reaper sitter, however you want to put it. So he's keeping that alive. Probably gonna pair up with some Hellions, I presume, that are gonna be coming out across the map here. And then let's see where this game is gonna go from there. Metabolic boost on the way for SERRAL. But yeah, pretty normal stuff here. Innovation just doing his thing. And then, of course, maybe we'll get SERRAL versus some high-level Koreans up in the future again. Or wasn't it like SERRAL versus TY? We're going to have it GSL versus the World that's upcoming. So we'll take a look at that. I'm actually going to be able to watch that one live. Going to Korea, so that's going to be exciting. But what's not exciting for Innovation right now is the fact that just a few lings managed to get on in towards his natural base and actually pick off an SCV or two, leaving himself open there a little bit, loses his Reaper. And I mean, that's just not a good start for Innovation. He will find these other lings in this corner, which is nice for him, but at the same time, it's like, why did lings just randomly get into your base? I guess he was just one of those odd timings. SERRAL picked off an SCV, denied a bit of mining time. Innovation does manage to pick off an Overlord. Sometimes Terrans will really skimp on those Marines, but Innovation did not, so he had adequate anti-air to pick that off. And I mean, everything considered, this game is just starting to heat up here a little bit. SERRAL going to be making as many drones as he can while being safe. Innovation, on the other hand, Hellions starting stim, so I imagine we'll see a third base, probably in that wall relatively soon here. And then we'll see where the game's going to go from there. It is a bio play from Innovation. Call me greedy. That's my favorite style to watch. I mean, mech is great and everything. It's fun to play. It works well. But as far as watching TvZ goes, I will never get fed up of like the bio play. In comes a Liberator. Having a bit of a tough time, though, because SERRAL is shutting down this Liberator hard here as, yeah, look at this. She's just trying to get in anywhere that he can, or... I don't... Is it a girl or a guy pilot for Liberator? I can't remember. Oh, Innovation tries to go up that ramp there. Eats a few nasty Banelings. The Banelings or the Lings and Queens going to shoot the remaining Hellions away. The Liberator still alive, but not for long. Not even going to get a single drone, so Innovation's harassment is getting shut down hard. And then SERRAL just as a random scouting Ling here attacking the other side. But look at this. Innovation does find his way in. Going to be able to pick off a few drones here. Gets 5. These Hellions are really committed. So maybe he can nab up 1 or 2 or at least get a few more units. Gets another shot off. There we go. But in the end, Innovation committing a fair bit there. Gets 6 drones. He's lost 8 Hellions and a Liberator so far. Probably worth it for SERRAL to have that happen. And something that's interesting to know, look at this, eBase not in the wall here for Innovation, but then he built his CC in his main base, so Innovation's actually wide open if SERRAL was going to go for a Ling Flood. Of course, I guess just reading his opponent, but that's interesting. No complete wall off yet for Innovation. He is getting up his 3rd CC, though, so it's important to note it might be like, oh, Innovation's harassment didn't get a lot done. That was harassment light, guys, as Innovation didn't commit a lot to that. It's not like he delayed his... It's not like he delayed anything, really. He's getting up his 1-1, he's got up his 3rd CC, and then he's getting up all of his extra production. So the game will proceed from here, and it's not like Innovation's in a terrible spot or anything. Let's see, SERRAL. Or Innovation, pardon me, saturating his 3rd base. I mean, they say SERRAL when really back at home he's just doing everything that he should be. His creep spread is going continuously. King's Cove, a map that once you get it dominated with creep spread, it just makes your life a lot easier as the Zerg, as Terran's going to want to try and move in and secure, say, important choke positions. Having the creep out there really helps you. And let's take a look here. Innovation yet to wall off this part, but he is starting to wall off at his 3rd, so he's kind of opting for that double wall, extra secure. And now he's maybe going to be moving out. Got a nice squad of Marines here. Just squad of Marines, 2 Medivacs can always work wonders. We'll see what Innovation's able to get done. Going to run into a Changeling here. Instantly pops into a Marine there before he gets shot, and its noggin falls off. And here goes SERRAL, though. This is where it becomes a little bit concerning. SERRAL just always on the move out, always looking for things like this. Innovation, oh man, did he actually, god, they gotta back up and see this. What happened here, Innovation? Looks like while SERRAL was going for that Ling counterattack, Innovation actually ate a nasty Baneling hit. And I guess SERRAL just drew his attention away there. So yeah, let's take a look here. Gonna back up. Do this every now and then for somewhat important moments. Yeah, Innovation runs on in, tries to pick off the creep tumor. 2 eats a nasty Baneling there. And that's hurt for Innovation, as I mean, it's just so tough to make anything happen versus SERRAL. Okay, let's see. Innovation, he now does have his 1-1 in combat shield done, so he's at least got that going for him. He's going into triple Widowmine production, getting drilling claws, so going to be playing that heavy bio mine style, not making any more siege tanks yet, when maybe he's going to want to be, because SERRAL's actually going to be investing in Hydras, which generally do incredibly well versus Widowmines. For now, though, Innovation just moving on in. Moving in with his bio, got his mine burrowed. SERRAL has to be careful dancing around this. Probably going to want to try and bait out that Widowmine. I think that Queen maybe has a mine on her name. Let's see, SERRAL not yet moving forward. He's actually maybe looking for a bit of a surround here. Innovation retreating, lifts up that one Widowmine. Second Widowmine gets a connection, but there's that surround. Fortunately for Innovation, he's got those Medivacs so they can or help his units escape. Innovation gonna have drilling claws in about 20 seconds here. Gonna be trying to use that for some harassment. Maybe look for some nice connections there with a quick Widowmine drop. Widowmine drop's not the most common thing versus Zerg players, but an absolutely basically just it's a nice adaptation here from Innovation. They're not super common. They do happen. But then just going for something like quick drilling claws, and then if he can get in right behind the mineral line, these things drop so quick. But look at this, SERRAL just checking all of his boxes here, moving Overlords in. We'll see if Innovation's able to get a drop-off, or whether SERRAL will react in time. In goes this Medivac. It's going to start unburrowing here. Let's see what sort of connections is it going to get. 4 Widowmines going in, 8 drones so far, 11 in total. 1 more mine is set to fire. Picks off a few more drones, rounding it out to a nice 14. I mean, that Medivac gets out, so a nice bit of harassment there for Innovation. That being said, though, not critical damage for SERRAL just yet, but this is allowing Innovation now to step forward, now to really poke his opponent a little bit. As SERRAL was busy dealing with that. He's teching into Infestors while this is going on, and oh man, that's not looking good for Innovation. Oh, that is a painful loss there. Pretty much all of the units he had got caught. Wasn't really or prepared for those Infestors. This planetary, not yet finished, so it can't defend its workers. All across the map, though, things really starting to heat up, guys. Man, I've only been back for a couple of days here, and I am not ready for the... I'm not ready for the speed in which you got to observe when it's something like Innovation versus SERRAL hitting each other all over. Let's take a look here. Innovation probably just going to continue on with his dropping and poking, wanting to deny creep wherever he can. SERRAL just always on point, maybe looking for a run by. Maybe these Lings will turn into Banelings at some point. Innovation, though, moving out with a drop. We'll see what he's able to get done. There we go, SERRAL planning more Ling run-bys. These guys just don't make it easy to observe. They are hitting each other all over. Look at this. Innovation planning to get a drop off SERRAL, wanting to catch it unloaded. But oh my god, SERRAL making 26 Banelings. Is he just going to roll these right into Innovation's Planetary Fortress or something like that? For the... Feelings get caught off to the right, but oh, here we go. SERRAL, he's got a ton of roly boys. Innovation is prepared here, though, while SERRAL has a lot of Banelings. There's a tank here, there's a planetary, and another tank, and Banelings pretty useless by themselves. Innovation, though, with a drop, could potentially get picked off here. Gotta be so careful when going for drops when there's Infestors out on the map. In goes Innovation, looking to poke on in once again, playing with fire, trying to dodge Infestors. He's got LaughNgamez out, gets a decent connect on some of the Hydras, but he is going to lose a lot of units here as those Infestors really lock down the units. Maybe Innovation can pick off an Infestor from the high ground, gets one of them, nicely done. Meanwhile, Innovation poking to the bottom, gonna potentially eat some Banelings, has to get on out of there. Innovation just dropping all over, wanting to deny creep every which way, but SERRAL maybe not wanting to wait any longer, thinking of pushing on in. He's got all those Banelings to the south and was maybe thinking of trying to break Innovation, but thinks better of it, and that's probably for the best here, as Innovation was pretty well dug in there with tanks and planetaries. Innovation looking to secure a 5th base while continuously dropping. These guys really haven't been going for a direct fight, and we can kind of tell that they're both adapting for this in a sense. They're not really focusing on making a massive army. They're really just covering all of their bases here, and we see Innovation looking to secure a 5th base, but he's on 83 workers, SERRAL on 89. This is not like an I'm going to make one big army sort of composition. These guys want to keep their economy going, want to tech up, and really expand, expand, expand. And Innovation and SERRAL are just both realizing that. It's like, alright, I might lose a few workers here, so really keep that number high for starters, and then when SERRAL or Innovation is harassing me, I can be prepared for that. It goes both ways, as both these guys are so good at harassing. You want to make sure that you keep your worker count up. SERRAL reaching that point in which he's investing in a lot of Spore Crawlers. He's now got out some Broodlords, 5 Broodlords morphing, while he's already got out, what, like 4 or something. So, gonna be at like 9 Broodlords. Innovation dropping to the south once again. These guys just skirmishing all over the map. So far, Innovation is in the lead for resources lost, which is pretty darn important. But oh man, this game is just all over the point here. All over the map. Innovation probably gonna go out for another drop just because he can. Planetary just says enough of you infested Terran, just pops those guys off. SERRAL, though, he's preparing for the late game. Innovation, though, openly embracing this, throwing up a ton of CCs, getting up ghosts. And we'll see. Innovation versus SERRAL late game has historically been fantastic. Creep getting cleaned on up, but Innovation now sees the Broodlords and is like, uh-oh, gotta do something about that. What he's doing about that exactly is he's making Vikings, he's getting up a ghost count, and maybe starting to build some Liberators too could be a good idea, but we are going to be heading on into North Korea territory here, as Innovation is starting to load up a lot of nukes, but yeah, let's take a look. Innovation unloading some units here. It's not looking too good. I mean, I don't think the trades were too bad since he used up a lot of the banelings there. And let's take a look here. Innovation looking to secure 6 base. Always something that's so important, I believe, in StarCraft 2 that players sometimes sleep on, is expanding as soon as you can. If you have the option to expand, go for it. Don't wait, just like, I got a good economy now, because the more you invest better on, the more damage you'll be able to absorb, and so it just works wonders. If you have the option to take that extra base, in my opinion, take it. Innovation securing this base to the top right here. I wouldn't even mind seeing him try and step out and secure this base sooner rather than later here. Just as it's pretty natural as far as progression goes to step forward. Basically just securing this choke point. Now we see Innovation moving on in, wanting to deny creep. Setting up a Liberator, setting up mines here. Oh, Widow Mine gonna eat a Baneling or two. Planetary is set up though. Building armor completes. This is gonna be a long one, guys, I feel. So, we'll see how well this is going to work out. Nuke potentially being called on in. That poor Ghost having a bad day, though. SERRAL sees that. I am excited to see Innovation start to go to town with a bunch of snipes, as that is one of the things that has... It's been a bit tough for SERRAL. I mean, he's the Zerg player with the best late game in the world, but sometimes players can be unsure of how to deal with a composition like this. There we go, Snipe starting to get blanketed down. Queen's having a very bad day as Innovation is going to slaughter them, getting some value there. That being said, though, getting some negative value too as SERRAL just picks up these units that were dropping and is going to annihilate them. Innovation, though, clearing up creep, wanting to keep his base or keep SERRAL away from his base as much as possible. Keep this bug back. Let's take a look. Command Center on the way here for Innovation. He's already got up a good number. Can't have enough CCs in the world. 20 CCs, up CCs, please. Nuke getting called on in by Innovation. I don't know how well it's going to work out for this Ghost. Not even bothering to cloak, just being all ballsy. There's a shadow of the Nuke moving on over. I believe there was another one called in somewhere. I'm gonna try not to... Ah, there it is. Oh. Not going to hit anything, just a zoning nuke. There's another Ghost. This is where sometimes I get a little bit concerned here for Terrans as they just start to throw so much money at their opponent. Resources lost really does matter in StarCraft 2. Nukes are a very powerful tool, but sometimes I think Terrans go a little bit ham. This nuke might actually hits a couple of Spore Crawlers. SERRAL wants to go and re-burrow them, but Innovation queues up another nuke right away. Once again, though, I think this Ghost could be in trouble, so Innovation scanning. Gonna lose that Ghost, and that's expensive, but he's gonna step forward, try and snipe some of the Broodlords, perhaps. Queues up a few snipes. You gotta be careful, though. Oh, yeah, Innovation losing a few more Ghosts here. It's important to note, Ghosts are very, very expensive. Innovation, though, does have a pretty darn good income from the seam of things. Just gonna be Mulin. Another nuke being queued on up. We see that shadow go up into the sky there. Oh, SERRAL has to back off once again. Innovation pushing on in slowly. The one thing that nukes really do, though, is they allow the Terran to bully the Zerg to continuously push them back. And, oh, look at this Infestor. Oh my god. Guys. Oh god, SERRAL has an Infestor on the high ground. That could have got a nasty fungal. This Ghost gonna have himself a bad time, gets picked off there. But yeah, the one thing, throwing nukes at your opponent like this does not work well for the Terran. He's basically just spending money, just Innovation not building up a bank, because pretty much all of his money is going into these Ghosts and nukes that he's thrown away. Look at this, 8 Ghosts have gone down already. That is not cheap. Structures lost. 1 Command Center, 2 Spore Crawlers, and 62 Creep Tumors. Just figured out that hotkey, by the way. That's a very handy one to know. Innovation potentially getting caught here. That Infestor burrowed, getting a nasty fungal growth off on the Terran's army. These Ghosts could eat some Banelings. There we go, nasty Baneling connections. Ghosts are going to snipe off the Hydras, though, and do pretty decent at it. So SERRAL took this trade. I think it went pretty alright for him, but it wasn't a complete wash there. Innovation lost expensive Ghosts, though. And as I was saying, if you're Innovation, you want to start bullying the Zerg player back, because he's not playing cost efficient right now. Innovation is throwing money away like mad, But his long-term plan may be that he wants to take more bases than SERRAL. He might want to steal one of SERRAL's bases later on in the game, and that justifies all the frivolous spending for the Terran player. Innovation. It would also be good to make sure that he continues on with his ship upgrades, so make sure to keep upgrading at his armories. There we go, ship level +3 on the way. We'll see if we see armor plating on the way after that. For now, though, we are seeing Innovation looking to bully his opponent. Couple of snipes going off and Nuke getting queued on in. Vikings engaging into Corruptors, but nasty fungal or parasitic bombs going down there, so the Vikings have to split away, taking a lot of damage, but Nukes being called on in here. Another Nuke being called on in. Innovation trying to bait SERRAL into a mistake, into a bad engagement. It's still going to be tough for Innovation to take on this Zerg army, but he's making the effort. As this is going on, the SERRAL not skipping a beat, going to be taking down this command center on the top right. Shutting down Innovation's attempts to expand is absolutely critical as a Zerg player. Innovation wants to be the one keeping the Zerg player pinned, but every base that SERRAL picks off is a little bit more that he can breathe, because as the game progresses, right now things are looking good for SERRAL. Innovation is going to want to try and bully his opponent into a tougher spot right now, and oh my god, it is Changeling City. So many Changelings are just running on in here. The Liberator shoots, but the Changeling doesn't die. It decides, nope, I'm a Marine. Innovation now targeting these Changelings, giving them a tough time. In comes SERRAL, though. He's got these Broodlords. He knows that there's a ton of Infestors to cover them. So a Nuke gets called on in for Innovation. He might want to cancel that one, though, as I think it's going to blow up some of his own turrets. Is Innovation going to cancel this Nuke? You cancel this, right? This is actually going to hurt Innovation. Oh, that actually blew up like 2 missile turrets there, so friendly fire there. Meanwhile, an engagement going on to the south here. Lots of Marauders absorbing Banelings for days, but the thing is, SERRAL did send a lot of his army down here. There are Ghosts, but they've got to retreat as there is Banelings pushing after them. Innovation may be able to save this base, though. The Ghosts and Vikings coming on in, I think they're actually going to be enough to see this save. Ghosts pretty decent, as long as they can avoid the Banelings. That being said, on this front, though, Innovation gotta be careful. Viper's maybe gonna try and abduct the Liberator or 2 or something. There gets one abducted, goes down. So these guys just trading all over the map. For now, though, SERRAL doing a good job keeping Innovation pinned. Innovation's investing in more CCs. He did secure another base, and he's dropping a ton of mules. Okay, guys, StarCraft 2 pet peeve here. There was the patch, and someone correct me, please, if I'm wrong, but this is still something that pro gamers do all the time. You can only have 8 mules mining on a base efficiently. They changed it so that it's like workers, only 1 worker can be mining on a patch at a time, so really 8 mules is all that you need to call in at once. That being said, that's not important right now. What's important is SERRAL trying to step forward and take out this base. A bit of an overcommitment, though, as he loses a few Banelings, doesn't get a lot done there. A very well-defended planetary by Innovation. Innovation's income, though, is going to skyrocket here, mining over 5,000 resources a minute as these mules are all going to work. So that's looking pretty good for Innovation. SERRAL not able to really break his opponent. Innovation continuing on with these drops. These drops, as long as they trade efficiently, are considered a win for Innovation. Keep the Zerg player pinned a little bit. And the resources lost isn't too far away for Innovation. We notice he's stopped nuking, he's stopped investing in that. He is trying to secure a base to the right, which is an important step for him. If Innovation can secure this base to the right and then deny SERRAL the one in the bottom left, then it is absolutely a good spot for him. More nukes being called in here, but there are Infestors and Ghosts looking to duke it out over this position, but SERRAL does win on that one. You gotta have a ton of Ghosts or take a good... It's all about positioning. Just charging head-on with the Ghosts versus a Zerg doesn't really work on end. And oh my god, guys, I've been talking for 23 minutes here as this Innovation and SERRAL have just been going ham at each other. Another nuke being called on in here for Innovation. Gonna try and push back these Spore Crawlers. That Shadow moves on up once again. It just goes so far by, and then it actually goes on in. But there we go. Nuke gonna land here. Bing, bang, boom. Another nuke being called on in here. Innovation might be trying to get a nice EMP off on the Infestors and maybe on the Vipers. If he can make that happen, maybe he can charge on in with his Vikings. But for now, pretty normal stuff here. It looks like we're going to be seeing SERRAL try and push on in. Infestor got picked off there. Got a fungal growth down, but the 3-3 bio actually does alright versus this. So Innovation having enough units to take a favorable trade there picks off SERRAL's ground army. It's a bit of an odd situation for both players because you generally don't want to have these lower tech units, but you need the lower tech units in a sense to fight the lower tech units. So SERRAL not really making enough Banelings and Hydras to take on this bio, or not having them in position anyway, so Innovation took that fight. Got a bit of harassment done at this base. We are seeing Innovation floating a CC to the bottom left. He hasn't secured this one to the right yet, but he is trying to take these bases greedily, which is an incredibly important move. Securing one of these bases, even for a few minutes as Terran, is just absolutely critical. In goes the Vikings, trying to pick off anything they can, while dodging parasitic bombs. A nuke is going to land here. Spore Crawler's going to nope on out. Liberator takes a bit of heat. Innovation is keeping the pressure on SERRAL, playing a beautiful TvZ so far. Gonna want to maybe pull this command center back as it's just hanging out over top of this hatchery. Little skirmishes going on left and right. There was another nuke called on in. Here just Innovation's... Is he gonna hit his own Liberator again? This poor Liberator, man. Oh, it doesn't actually take any damage that time. I don't believe. Innovation not able to secure the space in the bottom left. We'll see if SERRAL eventually gets around to killing that. Of course, going to kill that moves him out of position, which allows Innovation to step on in. Perhaps another nuke being called on in. Liberator gets abducted. Vikings getting some shots off. Got to be careful though, as there are these tech units lurking. Nice fungal growth goes off. Doesn't get chained or anything though. And look at this, Innovation moving to the south, picks off this hatchery here. Cleaning up this base. I mean, he's now got a CC at each of these locations, and one of these bases is rightfully SERRAL. So if I'm Innovation right now, what you want to do, the second that you land a base here, no matter what, the second you land one of these outlier bases, drop 8 mules. If Innovation has the energy, he should be muling here right now. That's just something that's incredibly important, because you never know when SERRAL's actually going to bully you off the location. Of course, Innovation is also busy trying to get nukes, and gotta be careful with his Vikings, maybe overstepping a little bit. Is Innovation going to nuke his own Vikings? Oh my god, he gets fungal. Does he cancel the nuke? He doesn't cancel the nuke. Innovation just nuked all of his own Vikings. Oh my god. Innovation just nuked like 10 of his own Vikings there. That was god-awful from Innovation. Oh my god. How many Vikings did he kill there? He hit like 10 of his own Vikings at least, I feel. That is not good for Innovation. He could have canceled the nuke too. Even though his Vikings were stuck, he could have canceled the nuke. Innovation is moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. Just so much is happening in this game. SERRAL decides it's time to step forward. I'm not sure how well that works out, as he lost a couple of infestors. The Broodlords, though, relatively unopposed. Innovation killed off this base down to the bottom right, landed a nuke as well, picked off some drones. SERRAL's trying to push on in forward. Innovation maybe can land this base down to the bottom left. We'll see. But for now, this game is absolutely insane. Innovation, there we go. He's transferring SCVs. I think that was considered a pretty big win for SERRAL, though, the way this game's going right now. Innovation is investing so much more in nukes here. And it's just not looking good for Innovation. 21 ghosts have gone down this game. The best nuke that he got was on his own units here. SERRAL knew to dodge that. Innovation not so much. His Vikings overcommitted there, and he nuked his own Vikings. And SERRAL even was just such a good player, leaving one Hydra to deny the space is so good. Innovation gonna start running out of gas soon, as he hasn't been able to, or metaphorical gas, as he hasn't been able to secure another base. The mules are gonna keep his economy fine for now, but eventually he will run out of patches. Actually gonna be losing this base here, not repairing it. Broodlord's a little bit exposed. Innovation picks off a couple, but eats fungals once again, and these Vikings are exposed. SERRAL gonna chain more and more of these fungals. That really hurts for Innovation. These Vikings can do nothing but retreat. There's too many Corruptors. There's not enough Ghosts on the ground for Innovation. He's only got 12, and that is not enough to stand up versus 7 Broodlords with all these Infestors. So Innovation CC City getting pushed back. He hasn't been able to secure this base to the bottom left. He's going to try and re-land this command center. But this one Hydra that has 10 kills, by the way, is going to... He might actually kill this. Oh my god, is this Hydra gonna do it? I know there's other things going on in this game, but it's looking pretty rough for Innovation. There we go, he's gonna try and save it. Does the Hydra get it burning? 3 more shots and it burns. It's gonna be close. The bio's not actually saving it, so the CC will start burning down. That is a win for the Hydra. What is going on here? Oh my god, these games are just so wacky. There's so much going on. There's bound to be a few wacky moments. Innovation right now, maybe just hoping for a Hail Mary as he calls in I don't know what number of nuke it is, but so far, oh my god, another fungal. This has been the name of the game for SERRAL, catching innovation with more and more fungals. Another nuke gets called in, but a parasitic bomb goes down as well. These Vikings are just having such a bad day. Innovation has lost so many Vikings, 20 Vikings this game, and they have pretty much done nothing. His bank is running dry. He hasn't secured this base to the bottom left. He lands on it now, and he's starting to repair, but we need to see mules drop, like, instantly. The second you land a command center in a situation like this, there we go. You need to drop the mules. Innovation maybe could have done it up here to the north now, but he never did that. And so, that is something that you gotta do if you're a Terran player, just help secure some more of that money. But speaking of money, it's looking pretty good for SERRAL. The bank is, it's just there. It's just there for SERRAL. 10,000 minerals. Almost 10,000 gas. That is an absurd number. A nuke lands, actually kills off a fair few drones. 28 drones actually just died. I don't know if they were all there. That might have been another nuke or something. Pardon me. Where did all those drones... Alright, we gotta find out. 28 drones just died. Okay, it was already at 18. So let's back up here. 12. Alright, another nuke landed here. There was a nuke and then another nuke. SERRAL just beyond caring at this point. Just eating nukes left and right, it would seem. So there was one nuke and then another nuke. So those were some good nukes for innovation, but might be a little bit too little too late, as SERRAL already with a huge bank. And the resources lost just so far ahead here for SERRAL. Innovation, even if somehow he manages to secure one of SERRAL's bases, I don't know if that's enough to overcome the deficit that he's found himself at. 20,000 resources lost, more than his opponent. And that is a huge, huge deficit. Innovation actually might need like a Hail Mary nuke or something that just plops right on top of SERRAL's army, because Innovation has lost so much this game, let off far too much. It's looking real good for SERRAL in this best of 3 here. And let's take a look. Innovation moving forward with his Vikings, but if it's anything like his other Vikings, yep, they're going to have a real bad day. The Ghosts are here, but it's not enough. Innovation has just lost too many Ghosts this game to build up a solid count. Another nuke getting called on in, but the Ghost immediately dies. And I don't know what Innovation can do at this point. I mean, he's mining minerals, he's mining gas at this base, but the amount that he's lost, he just needs to consolidate in order to stand versus SERRAL here. And then maybe take a good engagement or something, but I don't know if he can. Innovation making 12 Marines at a time because he's just making tons of minerals, but not enough gas. Gotta start saturating this gas here if you're Innovation. But look at this, he's lost so many command centers this game, and then yeah, it's just not good. How many CCs have actually died? 5 orbital commands, 3 command centers, 2 planetaries. Good snipes are going down on the Broodlords, so the Broodlords might actually all die here, but no, the Corruptor's coming in to save them, and with the fungals from the Infestors, despite some EMPs, SERRAL able to push Innovation back, and it's just looking worse and worse for Innovation here. Innovation now about 25,000 resources lost behind. And I don't know what you do at this point of your Innovation. SERRAL looking to come in, maybe take out this planetary. There's some Hydras, Lings, and Banelings. I think if Innovation loses this base, it might actually just be lights out for him. Banelings rolling in, crash on in, take out so many SCVs. There are 9 in total. These SCVs could maybe save the planetary, but they don't seem to care. They're just like, alright, whatever, we'll do our thing. And Innovation's last mining base really gets shut down there. And so, I think it's literally just a Hail Mary nuke at this point that can win Innovation this game. Does he even have any? The problem is there's no way to check, is there, for nukes? I should know this by now. Oh, looks like an engagement going down on the front there. Fungal growth caught some of Innovation's army, and he's just done, guys. Innovation is going to fall to SERRAL here in this first match. We'll have to see if he's able to take it on in the next one, but SERRAL's late game looking really, really good here, and Innovation's not so much. He just bled off too much. I think it really went downhill. I think it literally started to go downhill mainly when Innovation started to nuked his own Vikings. Then he nuked his own Vikings, he got his bases shut down, and SERRAL just bopped him. And so it took 30 minutes, but we're going to head on into the next game. Oh my god, what a great best of 3 so far. We'll hop on into the next game. You can't go wrong with SERRAL versus Innovation, but we're seeing why SERRAL is considered the best in the world still. Alright, here we are. This is a best of 3, so he's not done just yet. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, he's on a barcode, it's Innovation. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's SERRAL. Okie dokie, so let's take a look here. SERRAL just, he's just so good. I feel like the late game isn't fully developed. It's a lot better than what it was, like, say, a year ago, as far as Terrans knowing what to do in the late game. They seem to have more of a plan in mind. But then, of course, Zergs are figuring out how to deal with it better. And Korean Terrans are really getting that late game down, but you really got to have a clear plan in mind. Otherwise, you just get trapped like SERRAL did to Innovation, and it was just losses all the way across the board. Things just slipped out of his hands, and there was no coming back from it. And speaking of, I mean, cheeky things, I didn't really have a good segue for that one, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but SERRAL's going for an early spawning tool here. Oldest trick in the book, Zerg Rush, GLHF. And, yeah, let's take a look. Did SERRAL GLHF this game? He didn't. No one GLH'd F. Ho ho ho. Cheesy Zerg SERRAL going for a quick speed. Pulls out a perfect amount of gas, by the way. No extra gas to spare. He's just that good. And then Ling's going to be coming to Innovation's side of the map, and maybe SERRAL paid attention to the fact that Innovation didn't really SCV scout that game. But we could be seeing SERRAL try and pull a fast one on Innovation. He's made 8 Zerglings. Starts up his hatchery here. So this is a fair bit of a commitment from SERRAL to go for a build like this. Is Innovation going to run into these Lings? Doesn't quite look like it. SERRAL pulls back. The Overlord gave him a heads up as to where this Reaper was going. So Innovation could potentially be having his command center canceled. A Marine is moving on out. We'll see if it spots these Lings in time. SCVs have to be pulled at the very least. Innovation's Reaper now crossing the map. There's no heads up on this Ling attack coming on in, so the first thing Innovation knows about this Ling attack is when Lings are literally attacking him. So SCVs have to be pulled on in here. You got to be careful if you're Innovation. These guys have speed, so the Marine could get killed here. Innovation already having such a tough time, loses 5-6 SCVs. This was a speed rush too, so the Lings just closed that gap so quickly. Innovation having his reactor worked on, it might finish in time to allow a repair, but this is already disastrous for Innovation, losing 6 SCVs. And then, yeah, 6 SCVs going down. SERRAL canceling the command center. What a fantastic move by the Zerg player. Innovation didn't quite pull enough SCVs there in order to deal with the 8 Zerglings. If he had pulled a few more, sometimes it can be a little bit more one-sided, and Innovation maybe could have cleaned that up easily. For now, though, he's actually stepping out with his Reaper and Hellion. Gotta be careful not to get surrounded. Oh, this could just be getting worse. The Reaper is gonna go down. The Hellion frying up a couple of the Lings, but oh, this is just disastrous for Innovation. SERRAL just shutting him down hard. And yeah, this is just why SERRAL's so good. Things just work for him, and not because he's just lucky. He's won too many tournaments for it to be off the back of luck. This guy's just so good. Chooses a perfect build for the occasion. Innovation not reacting accordingly, and then getting shut down real hard there. Like Innovation just trying to get up his command center. SERRAL destroys that. Innovation pulls the wrong amount of SCVs. Keep in mind, guys, there is a right amount of SCVs to pull in that situation. Innovation needs to read that it's like, okay, this is 8 Zerglings here. Of course, he couldn't know that the speed was on the way, but what he could have at least known that he could have at least realized, like, okay, 6 SCVs, I need, like, say 8, or maybe 10 even, because if you're pulling SCVs, you want to save your command centers. You're basically saying, I'm going to lose a few SCVs to save this command center. Innovation, he didn't. He lost SCVs and he lost his command center. That's a double whammy of hurt. Now, we could be seeing Innovation get a nice move in. SERRAL has not seen the fact that this drop is coming on in. It's going to be a Hellion Vader, a Hell Vader, if you will. So we could possibly be seeing some counter damage get paid off here. Innovation trying to get his Hellions in as quick as possible, but look at this. SERRAL reacts so quickly. Innovation loads on up into the medivac, fries up 2 drones, but this Queen dealing so much damage to this medivac. Innovation losing really the tool he had to toil around a bit. We'll see. He's going to unload these Hellions at this third base once again, maybe able to get a few drones, but this Medivac, 2 injured now since it's taken so much damage already. Innovation is getting a good angle versus these Lings, which is actually fantastic for him though, so that's working out wonderfully for him. Might be able to fry up some drones, get at least maybe a few more to make things better, but not really. Innovation only getting 2 drones for 4 Hellions, and I feel like that could have gone so much better for Innovation. I mean, there's like a slight second of hesitation as his Hellions came on in, just trying to figure out the best path, but by that time, SERRAL reacts so quick, pulls the drones back, sends the Lings in, and it's hurting for Innovation. The Banshee was spotted, so SERRAL already knows that this is coming. Third CC on the way for Innovation. He's just going to try and macro his way out of this one, and I mean, you got to really try. It's just like that he's a minute behind what a Terran would normally be at, or like a 30 seconds behind or something, due to those losses. So Stim on the way, a command center on the way here, and then a double Banshee moving across the map. But as usual, SERRAL taking minimal damage to harassment. Oh man, it's just daunting to play versus this Zerg player. SERRAL is he's just so good. In comes the Banshees, maybe looking to pop off a drone or two, but the Queens are more than readily in position. Innovation trying to find what he can. He's got to try and get something done right. Or right. Like, that's a question. Like, he's got to get something done right, but he just hasn't been able to. Maybe he can nab up a couple of drones here. Gets 1 drone, maybe a second. Not quite. Maybe pick off a Baneling or something. Nope. SERRAL's just too quick. Banshees kind of got themselves trapped a little bit here. Cloak is running out. Maybe they can at least nab up like another drone or 2 before they go down. Gets 3 more drones. That's alright. Seeing as how they probably wouldn't have got too much more. The 1 Banshee escapes just barely. Let's take a look here. 4th base on the way here for SERRAL. Hydro's Den on the way. Innovation's production barely getting started here. I mean, he's on 3 bases. He's a 3-base Terran. There's always a dream right that you can just micro your way out of any situation by harassing. The problem is SERRAL's so good at preventing it. Innovation now unloading. Gonna try and get something done. The Zerg army already has Banelings with speed, though, so Innovation stepping on creep, gonna have a bit of a tough time. SERRAL reacts, just charges right on in. Innovation eats a few Banelings, loses a Widow Mine, or actually loses both of his Widow Mines, I believe. Innovation using that those cool transformation servos there, or just that cool transformation ability that Hellions have. They turn into the Hellbats a little bit more beefy, a little better versus Zerglings, but I still feel like it's just too much Zerg here right now for Innovation to deal with. Might just have to evacuate. Not sure what you can do as Innovation. Oh, he's got to be careful though. Doesn't want to lose a Medivac. Loses one of them. Gets most of the units out, but still, nothing is going right here for the Terran player. I feel right now, if you're Innovation, you're just like, man, what can I do? He's too good. 2-2 is on the way for Innovation, so he's got a potential upgrade lead coming his way, and he is a 3-base Terran, so he's going to have that production going for him, a lot of Widow Mines, and he is throwing up a 4th base, so Innovation, instead of going for rack 6, 7, and 8, does invest in that 4th base, being like, alright, I'm in a tough spot, but just trying to kill you isn't going to work out because you're SERRAL, so I'll try and take it later, and maybe he can do a little bit better this game. Maybe he can drag it out and play the late game. You'll frequently see in StarCraft 2 and that players just have to hang on sometimes to a certain point, and then the game can just get a lot better for them, no matter how bad the start was. I'm trying to remember the series that I cast. I believe it was a TVP in which basically the Protoss it was Trap versus Fantasy, in which the Protoss takes the beating. Spoilers alert if you don't want to watch my last video, which you should, by the way. Fantastic games I've been casting lately. Basically, if you have a real tough time at the start of the game, you take a lot of damage or something, you can always come back if you can reach that maxed out situation and just drag the game out from there, because in the grand scheme of things, as long as you make it to the end, that harassment is negligible. or that damage you took on is negligible, so as Innovation approaches maxed out, things are going to look better and better for him, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's still tough because it's SERRAL, right? But you've always got a chance. Innovation now looking for some harassment. Burrowed Widowmines. How many hits will that get? 3 drones. Does this other one land? Gotta burrow those quick. That medivac's about to go down. What sort of connections are those mines gonna get? Nothing too great, as a matter of fact, but at least getting something. Innovation putting in the effort here. If you guys, by the way, are enjoying this cast, make sure to press that like button. Shows that you guys want me to keep casting awesome games and series like SERRAL versus Innovation. Oh my god, that Widowmine hit was disgusting, by the way. Pretty much a full surround of Zerg. So yeah, make sure to press that like button if you are watching this video. If you've made it this far, you sat through that first long game, we could potentially be heading into another. Press that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. As I said, I do lots of, I cast lots of awesome games. And look at this though, Innovation starting to come in. His Bioforce is looking pretty darn healthy. A ton of Widowmines, a good chunk of Bio. And in the grand scheme of things, that harassment was negligible. He's now looking to put a hurting on SERRAL before he can really tech up. SERRAL does get some nice connections with the Banelings, knocking out a lot of those Widowmines, but still got to be careful. And here's Innovation trying to poke on multiple fronts. We'll see if he's able to micro and make it happen. Innovation pushing in towards the 4th or 5th base of SERRAL. Gonna have to retreat as the whole force of SERRAL comes on in. But look at this, Innovation doing pretty darn well here. SERRAL maybe wasn't expecting this much of a direct push. Maybe was expecting SERRAL to go for Innovation to really focus more on the late game, but he's actually not. Yes, he invested in that 4th base. Widowmine's getting some nasty shots off, picking off all those Banelings, by the way. Innovation did invest in a 4th base, as I said, but he's not going for tons of ghosts or starports or anything. He's really just hammering on the bio, realizing that maybe SERRAL left himself a bit vulnerable here, and perhaps he did. SERRAL's on 94 drones. That is supply that's not in his army, and so Innovation gonna try and make it work with the bio. Gotta be so careful though, as SERRAL's collapsing off creep. Innovation needs to retreat. Maybe got to leave the Marauders there. Retreat with the Marines, because Innovation does just have that. A ton of Marines here, 51 Marines. He's now looking for a drop. That's a bit of a risky play, I feel, as SERRAL usually is on point for shutting these kind of things down. And Innovation really did have the lead in the head-up fight, but he's given that up by going for this drop. We'll see if SERRAL can shut this down. Oh no, this could be bad for Innovation here. Flying potentially right over some Hydras. Oh no, Innovation. Oh, he's gonna lose 1 full medivac. 2 medivacs go down. Yes, they do. So that drop, not a good choice for Innovation. Losing the supply, it's suddenly even up. And the fact that there's now Ultralisks out for SERRAL, that might have been Innovation's window gone. He's now getting chased down. Ultras, Widowmines are going to do their best, get the connections they can, but Innovation is pushed back. He got the drop off in the main base, but the amount that Innovation committed there, that drop was kind of doomed to never pay itself off, and suddenly Innovation down on supply. He didn't commit to that late game tech, so that did set him back here. And now SERRAL's just sitting pretty with his Ultras that have chitinous plating. Innovation will have 3-3 in a second here, so maybe another good timing for him, but he did throw away a lot of supply, and he's committing to another drop. At this point, drops versus Zerg, it's questionable whether they'll pay themselves off here. Innovation trying to secure himself a 5th base at least, keep that economy going, even if he's not investing too much in that late game tech. But SERRAL might just be looking to end this one. He realizes that Innovation is all over the place, that he hasn't really been consolidating enough, and we could potentially be seeing SERRAL go for a kill move. Innovation, he's got supply and a drop. SERRAL's looking to go for a big push right now. There's a ton of Widowmines. They could get some nice connections, and they do. Most of the Lings melt. Innovation's got this planetary here still. Maybe he can hang on. He's got so much supply in medivacs. Where's his bio, though? I mean, 6 Marauders and 22 Marines somewhere. A good chunk of it, though, in those medivacs, not helping out in this fight. Where are those units? They're so far away. Innovation potentially going to lose this planetary. Yes, it goes down. 41 SCVs just die like it's nothing, and that might have just been a critical blow. Innovation, it goes to show how many workers he had. The fact that he still is on 46 SCVs, but that was just a massive blow by SERRAL. Innovation maybe had his chance, but now he's taken one heck of a beating, and SERRAL is still looking good. He's on the back of a good economy. We'll see if he keeps pushing or if he'll just sit back. Either way, he's in a great spot this game. Liberators are getting set up for Innovation. That might be all that Innovation needs, but he does eat a nasty fungal growth. In comes Banelings. Are there the connections? Decent connections, but so far an alright fight for Innovation, but oh, look at that. That's where the rest of SERRAL's army was. So many Banelings morphing. More Ultras are out. Innovation may want to push on in, but I don't know if he can make it happen. Supplies are relatively even. It's going to be close, but keep in mind a ton of Innovation supply are in these medivacs. More Liberators getting set on up. That might be all Innovation needs to push the Zerg player back. Another Liberator comes on in. Is Innovation going to be able to keep this going? He's just got to be muling like mad, I imagine, just trying to keep his economy going enough to sustain this push, because Innovation is pretty darn all in here. I mean, he's making 5 Liberators at a time. He's got no other plan besides making a ton of Liberators and microing with his file, but SERRAL crashes through, going to be able to pick off these Liberators from the seam of things. They're doing all right for themselves, but Innovation just getting pushed back more and more. SCVs are dying at the 4th base. SERRAL not missing a beat, shutting down Innovation's economy to a critical level, just too low there, and Innovation taps out as SERRAL takes the game, takes the series, return to game. We can adjust that score. A 2-0 there for SERRAL, just beautifully played. I mean, fantastic games there, and I feel like Innovation really had the stuff to take that game at a time, to take this series. I mean, it's not like he looked completely outclassed. He just had a few things that maybe could have been a little bit better. And yeah, beautiful play by SERRAL, as always. Just always a treat to cast. And if you guys enjoyed this cast, make sure to press that like button. I'm always putting out new videos here on the channel when I can, when I'm around. I'm probably going to be doing like a video a day or something like that, as is the usual. So if you enjoy the cast, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to press subscribe, as I'm always putting out new videos, and you want to get notified for that. I think there's like even a bell notification on YouTube you guys can press if you want. Lets you know when I'm putting up a new video. Listen to some Starcraft commentary, watch some good games. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.